Summer's officially here, and the bikini sale at shackshop.us is happening right now. Get hot styles, bold prints, and perfect fits, all on sale for a limited time. Whether you're beach-bound or poolside, we've got the bikini that makes you feel confident, cute, and totally summer-ready. So don't wait. Head to shackshop.us and shop the sale before it ends. That's shackshop.us, your new favorite bikini spot.
House Republicans move to lock in Trump energy agenda, target Biden-era rules with sweeping sunset bill. House Republicans are launching a major effort to permanently reshape U.S. energy policy, and this time they're not relying solely on executive orders. A new bill introduced by Representative Craig Goldman of Texas aims to dramatically curb the lifespan of federal energy regulations. If passed, the legislation would impose automatic expiration dates on both future and existing energy-related rules, effectively placing a time limit on federal regulatory authority in the sector. Supporters say it's about affordability and economic relief. Critics argue it could weaken environmental oversight and long-term energy planning. Here's what the proposal would do, and why it could have lasting political consequences. What the bill proposes. Goldman's legislation would require all newly issued energy-related federal regulations to expire after 5 years, unless formally reviewed and renewed. In addition, many existing regulations would be amended to include a 1-year expiration window pending agency review. That means energy rules issued under major statutes overseen by the Departments of Energy and Interior, including those involving land management, drilling policy, efficiency standards, and emissions rules, would face automatic sunset deadlines. The proposal mirrors broader deregulation efforts championed by President Donald Trump, who previously signed executive actions targeting what he described as excessive federal red tape in the energy sector. But unlike executive orders, which can be reversed by future administrations, a congressional statute would be far more difficult to undo. Goldman's argument: energy costs drive everyday prices. In defending the proposal, Goldman argues that federal regulations implemented under former President Joe Biden contributed to higher consumer prices nationwide. He frames energy as a foundational cost embedded in nearly every product Americans purchase. To illustrate his point, Goldman shared a personal business example. He recalled owning a wine and food store with his father, explaining that when fuel prices rose, delivery costs surged. A single shipment transported by truck reportedly increased by thousands of dollars due to higher diesel prices, costs that were ultimately passed on to customers. His broader argument: when energy prices climb, ripple effects spread across food, transportation, housing, and retail sectors. Supporters of the bill claim that scaling back regulations could lower compliance costs for producers, encourage domestic energy production, and potentially stabilize fuel prices. Political context: energy and the 2026 midterms. Energy affordability is emerging as a central issue ahead of the November 2026 midterm elections. Republicans argue that deregulation and expanded domestic production have helped ease pressure on fuel prices in recent months. Goldman contends that the political conversation around affordability has shifted as gas prices have moderated compared to prior peaks. Meanwhile, Democrats maintain that consumer costs are influenced by a complex mix of global oil markets, supply chain factors, and corporate pricing decisions, not solely federal regulations. Energy policy has historically been one of the most polarized issues in Congress, with disagreements over environmental standards, drilling access, climate targets, and federal oversight authority. This new bill could intensify that debate. What has already been rolled back? The House has already voted to reverse several Biden-era regulatory measures during the current session. In one notable vote, a bipartisan group of lawmakers overturned regulations related to showerhead water pressure standards. In another instance, both chambers passed resolutions targeting efficiency rules for certain household appliances, including water heaters. While those measures addressed specific regulations, Goldman's bill would take a broader structural approach, altering how energy regulations function moving forward rather than addressing them one at a time. Co-sponsors and Senate companion. The legislation has backing from several Republican lawmakers, including members of the Republican Study Committee. A Senate counterpart has also been introduced, signaling coordinated efforts between the two chambers. Whether the bill advances will depend on committee action, floor votes, and potential bipartisan support. Passage would likely face significant debate in the Senate. What critics might raise. Opponents of automatic sunset provisions often argue that regulatory stability is essential for long-term infrastructure investment. Energy companies frequently operate on multi-decade planning cycles, particularly in oil, gas, nuclear, and renewable sectors. Sudden rule expirations could create uncertainty in permitting and compliance frameworks. Environmental advocates also warn that limiting regulatory duration could weaken enforcement of emission standards and public land protections. At the same time, deregulation supporters counter that forced periodic review prevents outdated or burdensome rules from remaining indefinitely. Bigger picture: executive power versus legislative authority. One of the most significant aspects of this proposal is institutional. Executive orders can be undone by the next president, but statutory changes enacted by Congress require new legislation to reverse. By embedding sunset requirements into federal law, House Republicans are attempting to reshape not just specific regulations, but the regulatory process itself. If enacted, the bill would fundamentally alter how energy governance operates across administrations. What happens next? The bill must move through committee review before it can reach the House floor. If passed there, it would need Senate approval and presidential signature. Given the partisan divide over energy and climate policy, debate is expected to be intense. For now, the proposal signals that energy policy will remain a defining legislative battleground heading into 2026.